Hello students, we will continue with the previous lecture. You can see that in the previous lecture we discussed about dimensional analysis, and there is a small correction in dynamic quantities. In the table you can see the number 18th number, power, the unit of power is joules per second or watt. In terms of MLT it should be ml square t raised to minus 3. So there is a correction. So in this slide, or in this case, we have written directly power SI unit joules per second directly in terms of MLT. But in this class we'll try to understand how it is written, how we get in terms of MLT. Okay. So now express power in terms of MLT. SI unit of power is joules per second or watt. So if I write down joules per second in simple way, it can be written as Newton meter per second. Okay, joule, actually it is a unit of work. So work, if you know the definition, it is force applied into distance traveled. Force, unit of force will be Newton. Okay, and distance traveled will be meter. So it is Newton meter per second. Further, we have to simplify Newton and keep meter per second as it is. So for Newton, I have written here kg meter per second square. You can see it is written as kg meter per second square. But how? If you know Newton is the unit of force, so force can be defined as mass into acceleration. So mass, unit of mass is kg, and for acceleration meter per second square. So all together, if I simplify, we will get kg meter square second raised to minus 3. This is what we get. Okay, and in terms of MLT, it will be, for kg it will be m, for meter square it will be l square, for s raised to minus 3 it will be t raised to minus 3. Okay, this is how it is written. Similarly, if I take another example, express force in terms of MLT or fundamental quantities. Okay, so SI unit of force, as we discussed, it is Newton. Force, if you know the definition, it is mass into acceleration. For mass, we can write it as kg. For acceleration, you can write down meter per second square. And in terms of MLT, for kg it will be m raised to 1. For meter it will be l raised to 1. For second square it will be t raised to minus 2. Similarly, we can take one more example, that is viscosity. The symbol is mu. SI unit for viscosity is Newton second per meter square or Pascal second. Here we will consider Newton second per meter square. Again, in Newton second per meter square, what we'll do is we'll keep second per meter square as it is, and we will simplify for Newton. So Newton can be written as kg meter per second square, and second per meter square is written as it is. So cancelling meter and meter, second and second, we will get kg per meter per second. So this can be written as m raised to 1, l raised to 1, t raised to minus 1. So this is how we can write down in terms of MLT. Okay. Next we'll discuss about dimensional homogeneity. If a equation is correct, then the equation is dimensionally homogeneous. If a equation is not correct, then it is not dimensionally homogeneous. Okay, it is very important. If it satisfies the dimensional homogeneity condition, then only the equations are correct. Okay, dimensional homogeneity means dimensions of each term in an equation on both sides are equal. Okay, the powers of fundamental dimensions MLT theta on both sides of the equation will be identical for a dimensionally homogeneous equation. Okay, for understanding, we'll consider Q is equal to A into V, which is a discharge equation. Q is meter cube per second. So this is for incompressible fluid, when the water is flowing in a pipe. For that case, Q is equal to A into V, where A is area, V is velocity of the water, Q is discharge. This is for incompressible fluids like water. So we know that for discharge the unit is meter cube per second, SI unit. For area it is meter square, and for velocity it is meter per second. If I simplify, we will get meter cube per second on both sides. In terms of MLT, it will be L cube t raised to minus 1 on LHS. On RHS it will be L cube t raised to minus 1. So we will get on both sides same, L cube t raised to minus 1. Okay. Then there are two methods of dimensional analysis. Okay, let's suppose there are three variables in a problem. So we'll consider the same problem, water flowing in a pipe. Okay, so the same problem. There are three variables in a problem. In order to get the relation between them, we can use dimensional analysis method. So if you see here, q is equal to a into v. So there are three variables. Okay, now I'll read this thing. If the number of variables involved in a physical phenomenon are known, then the relation among the variables can be determined by the following methods. So if you know the variables in the problem, then we can find out the relation among themselves. Okay, so there are two methods, Rayleigh's method and Buckingham's pi theorem. So Rayleigh's method is useful up till 4 variables, 3 or maximum 4 variables. If the number of variables increase, then it is very difficult with Rayleigh's method. So we go for Buckingham's pi theorem. So in case of Buckingham's pi theorem, we can solve it for n number of variables. So the methods, we'll see both the methods in the future class. Thank you.